Welcome to the Running with James podcast, where every Hyrox athlete, OCR competitor, and the everyday runner has a place. We're passionate about building a community that supports, building confidence that empowers, and building champions who rise. Together, we'll push limits and chase what moves us. Remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. Now here's your host, James Wyatt.
And welcome back to another edition of Running with James. It is the first podcast AC.
After Carlos?
After Carlos.
Yeah, it's a little quiet.
It is a little quiet. There's no random giggling in the background.
There's no rando giggling. Mm-mm. Chair's a little empty. Maybe we should get a body pillow and put his face on it just so it's like he's in the room still.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
For sure. We're going to have some guest hosts here over the next few weeks. So this first one, I couldn't get anybody to really commit with the kind of energy that he had. There were a couple people who asked me, and I was like, no. This first week, we're going to have to do it without him just so we can make that transition because it's going to be hard to follow him up.
Did you say no as in permanently no or no, not this week? And were you gentle when you said no? Or were you no?
They kind of put me on the spot here, Lauren, because they listen to the podcast. So if I say that, then either I'm a liar or
you're all valid, and you all would make great.
What the crud? So I did record an episode yesterday for the Coaches Corner for the Patreon, and it was a really good conversation. It was Travis came in and we talked about. I didn't know he was a patent attorney.
I don't think I knew that either.
Yeah, no, I mean I didn't even I kind of figured what a patent attorney was. But I still, for some reason, had an idea of I told him, I was like, he's standing in a courtroom. He's like, you can't handle the patent. You probably don't get what that movie's from, but I thought it was hilarious. He laughed. So
if I ever need a patent for something, or if Lovely Jess needs a patent for any one of her many great ideas, we just call Travis up.
Yeah, and he'll make it happen. Yeah, right. Or he'll sue somebody for us who already has the patent, even though it was our idea.
So it scales.
And they are patented our idea. Mm-hmm, yeah, or her idea, right? So, but we were talking because it was a good combo. It was really good talk, and it was a really good conversation. I was telling him how he's like, well, how do you pick guests and stuff? And I was like, well, sometimes it's a crapshoot, but other times, you just get people you feel like you can talk to. Because there's nothing worse than getting on a podcast and being in an interview and then realizing halfway through that you made a humongous mistake.
Without sounding too mean, bit of a dud.
Yeah. And then you're trying to figure out ways to close it out really
Navigate.
Quick. Yeah.
In a polite way.
Here's a way to know. If you are a follower or listener of the Running with James podcast, on average, we're right at an hour. Right?
I feel like we've crossed over that, but sure.
No,
I'll believe you. I'll believe you.
No, we're 108, 110, right? But hour is a good generalization. If we have a good guest, that could go a little longer. We've had them go where we had to split them into 2 episodes.
Yeah, we've done those.
Right? So if your episode, if we're recording and it's 30 minutes.
And we're trying to cut it off.
And you're not telling me you've got to go somewhere, you didn't tell me in advance that we've got to be done by a certain time, that might be your sign.
Yeah, this is your sign.
That episode may not get published.
It might not get published, or you might not be coming back.
You definitely are not coming back.
Yeah.
So even if we're because we wouldn't tell you that. Usually we're oh man, that was so much fun, man. We'll have to get you back on. If you don't hear those words either, it just means we're being nice.
Yeah, that is very true.
So, but I was looking. I'm assuming you saw the email about I was super surprised because usually they wait until after the World Championships. But did you see they already are releasing the sign up for DC and for
the first half of fall? Yeah, it's super early because one of my girls was already talking about signing up for one of them for her pro race, and I was like, well, hang on, this isn't how we talked about it. We had to kind of talk her off a ledge for a second.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're getting earlier and earlier, and I'm kind of wondering if the reasoning behind that is because I feel I think they're banking. I'm guessing what they're doing is they're banking on all these people who just finished Houston or just finished Miami, who are full of the hype and who are hopefully going to bounce on it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, or they could just be the thing's blowing up so much. We've got more.
Maybe we're going to do double race weekends every time.
And, I don't know. So, but yeah, usually they wait till after June. to get you to sign up. I think the thing is knowing in advance when the races are is the most important thing. Not having to sign up
Yeah.
6 months before the race. That's hard.
It's a gamble because so much can happen.
Yeah.
6 months before
I mean,
your
the
partner
flex
can
is
get
nice.
hurt.
It's
You
nice
can get
having the
hurt.
flex now, but
Yes.
or it's like you have to go ahead and decide
What you're doing.
what you're going to do, which is,
Yeah.
I guess, if you're committed to it. But like you said, there's so much that can happen. So if you already book your travel or you book your hotel and then something's happened, you don't go. It's like
Money gone.
those are not like low cost items, right? Especially with the what is the word I'm looking for? Like the temperature of the world.
I would say, oh yeah, like it's not cheap to buy a plane ticket right now. I don't know if y'all have looked, but
Exactly. And if we wait 2 months, it could be much cheaper.
It could be much cheaper because things could de-escalate a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I was talking to a friend about doing a race in Boston and Salt Lake City. I was like, let's maybe do one of these 2 races. And they said, I've already looked at plane tickets. And we're talking September. So like 6 months away, depending on which one it is. Like $470
Yeah.
for a race for 4 or 5 months away. I was like, that's wild.
Which, like I said, in 2 months, 3 months from
Could
now,
go back to normal.
It could be way back further down, right? Because gas prices may go back down. They probably will. I mean,
I would hope so.
right now,
Please.
this is just like, which is, I don't understand it.
I don't want to pay $50 for gas anymore.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we don't even get our gas from over there. Like, it's coming from here. So, like, it's like we're reacting to what's happening on the other side of the world just because they can. Just because they're like, oh, gas is more expensive everywhere, so let's make ours go up too. I don't get it. It's like, I guess it's the way to make money. It's just
I don't want to pay $50 for
the
gas
way of the
anymore.
world. So, but it's one of those things where I guess no matter what High Rocks does, we're not going to like it.
I would say as the sport grows, you're always going to find something to kind of have beef with.
Yep.
Because we've been doing it for so long. It's like, I always think like, oh, remember back when?
Yeah.
Remember back when I literally remember signing up for a race the week before.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah. No. Which, I mean, that's not fair to them.
That's not fair to them
It's
because
not
you
fair
want
to
the
them.
sport to grow.
Especially because no matter what, you're going to complain. You're like, oh, well, they didn't have enough volunteers or they didn't have enough spaces.
There's always something.
And, well, whose fault is that? Well, it's our fault for waiting so long to sign up,
Yes.
right? So, I mean, I can get both sides of it, but like, let us know the calendar in advance, you know, and maybe don't make us sign up 6 months, maybe 3
4
months,
3, 4.
3 or 4 months in, right? So,
6 is a lot.
I mean, that seems like a lot because I mean, so it's April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 6 months.
That's a long
And they're
time.
releasing September and October because they're releasing next week. They're releasing Washington, and then the week after they're releasing Boston, or 2 weeks after they're releasing Boston.
Boston's
Well, Boston's
the
in
one.
October,
Boston's one I want to do, I think.
so I'm like, you got to already commit
Yeah.
to something that's a half a year away.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to really plan out.
Like this is spring and summer we're talking. We've
Yeah.
got to go through before you get there.
You really do. They got to know you're committed. And well, also, so we said there was like what 21,000 athletes who signed up for Houston. and
20,000,
only
yeah.
17,500, I think, was the number that actually showed up.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or finished.
Or finished.
Not
yeah.
showed up, but finished.
Yeah, finished. So it kind of makes you wonder, like
How many didn't show up and how many like disqualified DNF?
Yes. So like I kind of wonder, like when you're having people having to sign up this early in advance, you can have a lot of people just jump on it again. Who, if something happens for whatever reason, they don't end up using their ticket. Like, could those numbers really fluctuate because people felt like they were in a corner
Yeah.
to have to commit so soon? I mean, I signed up for pro women's doubles with technically no partner, and I was looking for a partner up until 2 months out.
Yeah,
which was
that's true.
stressful.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
found a great partner, but
Yeah.
it was stressful.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the challenges, I guess, is the commitment in advance, and then, I guess the thing think though in my mind is you kind of have to commit because the way things sell out, the way they've been selling out anyway, is if you don't commit, you
You're
aren't
not
going to
gonna
race.
get it. Yeah.
They have been selling out, and then a couple months before they're like, oh, we'll do Thursday, or they'll add a day or add a couple days.
Yeah.
So you end up being able to get in, but there's no guarantee that they're going to. I mean, obviously they're going to try to sell as much as they can.
Yeah.
But and they have been doing it, but like I said, they're so fickle every year. They change rules, they change what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. So it's like
New York is like New York. So this will be the first 2 weekend event in the U.S. with New York. I wonder if I hate to say this because, again, love the sport, but I hope that's not a trend that's going to happen for every city. But I wonder if that will happen for like maybe Washington eventually, or maybe not Washington, but like, I don't know if that could happen to any of the other really big cities. Where there's a
Probably.
huge
I would
show.
think
Maybe
so.
Dallas.
But what I would say is like, I don't think that that's a good thing for like qualification purposes, because that's one event.
I feel like that could get confusing.
And when you have, you compete on Saturday and you fly in for that weekend,
Yeah.
and you're first place, and then you go home
and find out someone beat you
and
out.
you don't get a flag because you don't get to go because you don't stay, and you got to depend on them to mail it to you, which that may never happen.
Yeah.
And then you find out on Sunday, oh, somebody beat me
Somebody
by 10
beat our
seconds
time.
or something. Now I don't get a qualification. You're like, I mean, that's...
It's just kind of one of those things like where you couldn't do anything about it if somebody was a heat after you and like beat you out, but it's a whole week of waiting.
Right.
And it could really like, it adds to the sting of it all.
Yeah. So I would think that the smart thing to do, or the right thing to do, would just be, those are two separate events. Even though they're New York, it's like New York
York
A,
Part 1.
New York B, right?
Yeah.
Plus you've got that many people competing. So let's say, Houston had 20,000 people, right? Well, did Anaheim have 20,000 people? Not even close.
No.
Right? They had a lot of people, but let's say they had 10,000 people. Well, when you have 10,000 people, the competition's not as good or as
Yeah.
deep. So you would think that the more people they have competing, you got to have more spots available.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Looking to take your running to the next level? Whether you're just getting started or chasing the next PR, my dad, Coach James, and BC Fitness have you covered. Join our in-person or online run coaching. Plug into our free weekly run club and train alongside a community that's built different. From High Rocks and OCR to daily group fitness classes at our Houston gym. This is where athletes are made. Come run with us, train with us, grow with us. Visit mybcfit.com and start building your best.
Yeah. Well, especially now that they're not doing the roll down anymore.
Well, they're just not doing the roll down now.
I feel like you think it's going to come back.
I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't know. They just did that halfway through the season, and it's because they've sold too many spots they've sold out the world championship basically. So now they're like, oh, we don't want to have too many people there. So I don't know.
I think it's one of those things where as the sport grows, there's going to be like a lot of real delicate like situations that they're going to have to figure out on the fly.
Yeah.
So,
but I think they're to the spot now where they have to make hard die in the wool. This has to be the way it is.
Yeah. Because
they're not like, for the last several years, right? They're small enough, they're new enough that they could kind of like do what they wanted.
yeah.
So it's like the gym.
Yeah.
We have a gym competition. I mean, I'm going to try to be as upfront and whatever as possible, but if it's close, okay, you know what? They're a coach here. This is a guest, the guest one.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah,
take that prerogative
Yeah.
because we're like, they're going to get others. It's a judge. It's one of our coaches. It's one of our
We're
people.
not held to that same high standard.
Right. So, but you can't, once you get a certain level, you can't do those kind of little things, right? You have to stick to the rules and be very whatever.
Yeah. Well, especially like you said, people are spending a lot of money. You have to respect your athletes. So they're spending a lot of money to not only race, but like to travel, accommodations.
Yep.
A lot goes into it. So you absolutely have to like respect your athletes and all they're doing to grow your race series.
Yeah, especially if you want it to keep growing. Right. So, well, I think that's the thing is, I told you guys, like our coaches, that, there's a lot of momentum. And so they're constantly building on their momentum. I think that's what they do an excellent job of, is that they continue to build off of what they did.
Yeah.
And they're not resting on their laurels, right? So many people do that. They just rest on their laurels. They're like, oh, I did good enough.
We did really good this one time. People will remember it forever.
Yeah, it's just, we're doing we did a good job last time or last season or on this one particular thing. So, we've reached the apex, and there's never an apex. You're always trying to improve. You're always trying to get better.
Yeah.
And as a company, you have to continue to grow because if not, it's too easy to go backwards.
Yeah.
So you have to constantly be aware of that and understand also that the market changes and that what people are excited about today may not be what they're excited about tomorrow because people are fickle. And so you have to constantly be refining what you're doing and fine tuning what you're doing. And, what's good, you make even better, and what's great, you have to make excellent. And so always kind of realizing that. I think, that made me think about, or makes me think about kind of what we're talking about today. And that's, kind of getting this reality check of, your race season. Cause that's what we're in the end of the reason we're talking about this stuff is because the race season is pretty much over. I know a few people are doing New York.
We got a couple of New York.
Miami just hit last weekend, but for the most part for us, the race season's over. And so, usually what we do is kind of assess,
Yep.
How
was your performance?
How was the performance? What did you do well? What did you struggle on? And if you hit your goal, okay, great. Why did you hit your goal? How hard did you exceed your goal? If you didn't hit your goal, why?
Did you go stray?
Yeah, why? Yeah, where'd you go astray? Why didn't you improve? And just kind of be really real with yourself and kind of evaluate what the process looked like, right? Did you have a plan? Did you stick to the plan? Did you sabotage your recovery? At the very end, did you panic train? I think today, really, I wanted to talk about, kind of like do that reality check, but in a good way, so I don't want to be like super negative. And I always try to be positive, right? Like I always tell people when we're having our meetings, I'm like, okay, give me 3 things you feel like you did really, really well, and then give me a couple things that you feel like you struggled on.
It's so easy for people to give the things they struggled on. But you ask them, what did you do well? They're like,
nothing.
I showed up.
Thing, right? So
I remembered my timing chip.
So we don't want to tear people down so much as, we want to build people up.
Yep.
So, we're talking about High Rocks, but there's a ton of things they do well.
Yeah.
Overall, there's a reason this things sell out so quick.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we do multiple things a season, and that's why we'll fly to another. We'll spend all this money to go fly to places.
We really will. Yeah. No, I think, and I think what discussion I've had with a couple people who are like, oh, my race didn't go the way I wanted to, or I'm like, okay, well that's always a little bit of a bummer, but it's okay if you didn't follow the plan. I mean, it's not okay, but it's okay because things happen.
Okay, so we're gonna have to we're gonna backtrack just a little bit. This makes me think about when somebody apologizes and then you say it's okay.
So, me personally?
Anybody, not you, but a lot of people do it.
Do
you do that?
I do.
Yeah. You can't do that. If someone apologizes, you can accept the apology and say, I forgive you, but you don't tell them it was okay because if it was okay, they wouldn't need to apologize.
This is true.
So if they got a plan and they didn't follow it,
that's on them.
That's not okay.
It's on them. You should have followed your plan. I think what I'm getting at is it happened.
Yes.
How are we going to make it
Let's
better?
move on.
How are we going to move forward and make it better?
There you
That's
go.
what I'm getting at. It's not okay. You should follow your plan. But we take accountability. We look at what we did and we admit to it. And then we're like, okay, let's build from here.
Right. So don't
tear yourself down.
Don't tear yourself down because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Just do what you're supposed to do this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the struggle I think a lot of times that people have is they have this mindset, if I work hard, I'll get better. And there's some...
just grind?
Yeah.
Like just aimlessly grinding.
Truth to that. And it sounds good, but it's not always the whole truth.
Yeah.
Right? It's a version of the truth of where, yes, there is a lot of hard work that has to go into you getting better, but working harder could be sabotaging what it is that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And it could have been the one reason. You may have been doing all the right things and then you started adding
Extra
more
to it because you panicked.
and because you panic trained and then it sabotaged what you were really trying to do.
Yep. Or you panic trained, or I was actually having a conversation with somebody today about this. You were misled. I'm gonna use the term misled by an influence on maybe social media. We see a lot.
Yeah.
We see so many people who are experts, so-called experts in the sport, who they look shredded, they look great, the workouts they do are sexy and cool, and the cinematography on them is awesome. But then fast forward, you see I'm not going to call anybody out, but you see maybe some of their race times, and they're not crazy impressive, and some of them are not impressive at all. Not to downplay anybody's time, but for what they're when you see them on social media, this person looks like they had it together, and so I followed their advice, and I ended up not performing the way I wanted to, and find out their time wasn't really anything
all
amazing.
that amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. We could kind of talk about that too. Is that what would justify a time that would mean you should listen to this person? You know, is it that, or is it more so they were able to finish strong? Are they able to,
That's a good point.
What would justify that, I guess? But I think you're right in that there are a lot. I saw one the other day, guys like world record burpees.
Oh, I saw the comments on that one.
Yeah. And I don't ever comment, but I commented on that. And I was like, I want to know what the rest of the time was.
Yeah. Because we've seen a few people like that. They always want to post like, I was so fast in this station. Like, how was everything else?
Like, how were the runs? How was everything else? Like,
did you walk everything else?
Did you finish in an hour and 45 minutes, even though you did a 1 minute burpee or something like that? I mean, I could do 100 meters of burpees in like a minute.
I cannot.
I could. I would probably be throwing up at the end, but I'm definitely not running 1,000 meters fast afterwards, and I'm not running 1,000 meters fast before it. So like it's less about like that one individual thing that people pick out and more about the thing as a whole, which is the same thing I feel like with your training, right?
Yeah.
So, I think if you're kind of, when you do an assessment, like one of the things that we do oftentimes, in the assessment is we go back to like that foundation building. So, when I always tell people is like, we're building this pyramid, right? So the bigger the foundation, the higher the peak.
Yes.
And so as part of the foundation, I kind of like have these pillars of the foundation: aerobic capacity, overall strength, and then like mobility, flexibility, right? Those are kind of like the pillars that everything is built on.
Yeah.
And so I think they work really well with Hyrox because obviously it's very aerobic. You have to have a big engine.
You really do.
You have to have a big engine. You got to have strength.
You do need the strength. Those sleds are not light.
And they're not equal.
They're not equal.
So from event to event and even lane to lane, they could be different. So you have to have strength and you have to have endurance to be able to overcome in case you get a bad lane. And then you need a level of flexibility and mobility to be efficient through each of those stations.
Yes.
Right. Especially when we're talking about the wall balls or the lunges, even the burpees, right?
The more mobility you have to go through those stations. Yeah, the rower. The more mobility you have through those stations, the more efficient you can be. I mean, a lot of people who struggle and maybe don't have always the best times, they struggle just to get down into the form. Yeah.
So, I think when you kind of do those assessments, then you realize, okay, where are my weaknesses? Where are my imbalances? If you got injured, most injuries come from overuse or from some sort of muscular imbalance. Well, you have to kind of figure out what was the thing that got you injured so that you don't repeat it, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a lot of times what people like make mistakes on is that they do like busy work instead of intentional work. So it's just like, we're coming in, we're going to do these 20 things, right? So not to name any particular gyms because, hey, if you're out there working out, especially if you're doing it as a community, that's awesome.
That's great.
You're going to get stronger. You're going to get better, right? So I don't want to like be naming names and making it sound like I don't like their training system, like F45 or like Orange Theory. I don't want to make it sound like they suck at what they do.
No.
Because they do. But doing like circuit training where you've got like 20 different stations and you're just moving from one station to the next, like that's just busy work.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? I want to introduce you to the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, a powerful resource to transform your life today. With expert interviews, practical tips, and inspiring stories, this podcast is your roadmap to lasting wellness. Here's what a listener has to say.
I used to struggle with my health, but this podcast changed everything. It's like having a personal trainer, nutritionist, and life coach totally for free.
With over 2,000 5-star reviews, we're a podcast you can trust. The Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
It is. I had a discussion with somebody about that. I'm like, there's a lot of other training places I see where they're like, we're going to cram as many of the stations and as many different movements into this workout as you can.
Yeah.
Maybe make it an hour and a half long. Maybe make it 45, but how much can we cram into 45 minutes?
Yep.
Get you to the point of being like throwing up. And I'm like,
let's fatigue you.
And let's get you tired. We're going to make it worth your money and your time. And I'm like, I've done workouts with Coach James. We've done literally 3 movements and I did want to die at the end.
Yeah.
But they were quality workouts and it focused on 3 specific things that also, helped me with other things.
Right. So, I mean, the whole point is progressive overload. The whole point is building on, some sort of foundation through intentional work. And so oftentimes it's not very intentional. It's just busy.
Yeah.
It's just do this. I need to work on this. Actually, today, one of my athletes came in and we did, kind of an assessment workout and, we were warming up and I was running with them and they were like, they were saying, yeah, well, as we're working out, this summer, I'm going to make sure that I don't take a very long break before we get to the wall balls or something like that. Like, I'm going to make sure I'm fatigued when I get to the wall balls. I was like, no, you're not going to do that. And they kind of looked at me and I was like, you're going to do whatever your coach tells you to do.
Yeah.
And like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to do that. I was like, so you just follow the plan, right? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I thought I did a really good job of following the plan, coach. Whatever you told me to do, I did. And so we were kind of laughing back and forth. But you struggle somewhere, you fail or you think you fail somewhere. And so then you like do a bunch of stuff.
Yes. So you think's going to get you
to where you need to be.
Yes.
Right. Without doing like an actual real assessment.
Yes. Of why did this happen?
Exactly. Right. So you do busy work instead of intentional training. Maybe you had efforts without like direction.
Yeah.
So, like the 20 stations. Well, are they 20 different stations every time you go in? Right? What is the purpose of doing that? Where's the direction you're going? What is this improving?
Yeah.
Is this just improving?
We're going to have you crawling out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the Orange Theory thing too. Like the whole concept behind Orange Theory is you're in your lactate threshold. So
Yeah.
it's a lactate threshold training
Yeah.
session, right? Well, if you're varying the workouts every time as far as like what you're doing and you're in your lactate threshold and you're not spending inordinate amounts if you're not spending more time in your aerobic building zones, well, there's only so much you can improve lactate threshold wise because you don't have a aerobic foundation to sustain it.
Yeah.
And so you're probably going to get hurt or you can get super exhausted all the time. More than likely, you're definitely going to get hurt. And then if you are doing these without any type of like significant strength training focuses, and what I mean by that is, okay, yeah, you jump on the treadmill for 5 minutes, then you jump off and you do some 15-pound dumbbell workout, and then you jump back on again. Like what is that build? Where's the progressive overload?
Yeah.
So it's just not targeted, and it's a hard effort or a challenging effort without a real
Intention.
direction and intentionality to
Yeah.
it. So I think a lot of times people will do these events and they'll do these races and they'll kind of plateau, not because they didn't try, but because they didn't adjust their training properly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like the wall balls is definitely when I see a lot of people, they're like, oh, I need to make sure I'm like killing myself on wall balls every single time, every single workout. But like you said, that might not be what you really need to focus on. The issue might not be that the wall balls are what messed you up. You might need to get stronger in the lunges. You might need to like build your engine so by the time you get there, you're
not so fatigued.
tired.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily where you failed is what's doing you in. It could be something that's lacking leading up to that.
right. Well, we had our run group, this past Tuesday, and some of the guys were there and they were talking about, one guy was talking about how he was trying to run Arturo's pace. He tried to take off and run Arturo's pace, and after the sled push or something, he was talking about how heavy it was and how hard it was. And I distinctly remember a conversation with him and telling me the weights aren't going to be a problem. I'm like, I'm not worried about the weights.
He a bigger guy?
Yeah, he's bigger than I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely a strong guy without a shadow of a doubt. And he's like, but when I got in there, my gosh, man, they felt so heavy and like my legs were heavy. And then after the sled pull, I was like smashed. And so, what he had gone, now this is his first one, right?
Yeah.
So
Huge learning curve.
no matter what race you do, the first time you do it, even if you train with the best of the best,
It's so different.
you're still going to do better the second time just because you have a better realization of what to expect.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but when you train with people who know what they're doing and they give you the insights, you can be more prepared so that those kind of things don't happen. And so they didn't necessarily do those suggestions and things, right? They came to some of our run group stuff and, they benefited from that, I believe. But like throughout the week, they weren't doing the other stuff that you really need to do, like the easy runs or the easy aerobic efforts to really build that engine. They were kind of using the couple days a week they would come do track workouts with us. Those were their running sessions.
That was it.
That was it.
Okay.
Right. And that's not enough.
No.
Right. And it's really not the right things, especially when they had no like targeted pace they were running. They were just running whatever they thought they should run.
Well, because those aren't tempo. Those are interval workouts,
It just
right?
depends on the week. I mean, we've done all kinds of different things.
Okay.
Right. So we've done threshold stuff up to tempo work to hill work to like intervals to at different lengths or what have you. So and not everybody has shown up to all those. They haven't seen gone through all the progressions. They might have came to like when we were doing mile repeats, and then they didn't come back until we were doing hill repeats, and then they didn't come back till we were doing 1,000 meters, and they may have only done 1 or 2 of each one.
Yeah.
Right. So
Your body's not really progressing the way
they're not going through the
supposed to.
progression, and then so to them was more probably like just work to be doing work.
Yeah.
Right. So that can be challenging when you're not really truly going through an intentional direction, right, or intentional plan, right? So I think there's, for a lot of people that are coming to this or new to this, and training in general, like probably 90% of the people that come to me that are looking for run coaching, I think there are some blind spots that they step into or they're living by, right? I think one of them is too much intensity. That's like, without a doubt, if they've already been doing training, they've been doing too much intensity.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a huge thing. A lot of people, I think when most people come to our gym for the first time from other gyms, I feel like that is like the biggest trend we see. Is they're like, well, I'm doing like 5 strength workouts a week, and I'm doing these random really hard runs.
Yep.
And then you ask them like how their metrics are like looking, how their data's looking, like, are you seeing an increase? They're like, well, I'm just feeling like I'm tired a lot. I feel like I'm doing okay, but I'm like tired. My body's kind of like lagging. I'm like, well, sounds like you're putting your body through the ringer.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of us are guilty of when we're getting started. But that's why you hopefully can find places who can
Give you that guidance.
give you the guidance
Sure.
that might get you the results you want.
Well,
Should get you the results
when
you
you're
want.
doing that, you're not having true easy days, right? A lot of times you're going off of how you feel.
Yeah.
So like today I feel good. Like I'm dealing with a couple people right now, and they're like, oh, I felt good today, coach. So I went ahead and ran a little faster. I'm like, nope.
That's not the point.
That's not what you do. Because tomorrow you're going to tell me you don't feel good, and you're supposed to do speed work tomorrow, and you're going to use that excuse of not hitting the paces. So, you keep the easy days truly easy,
Yep.
and then you have the energy to really do the hard days, right? So it's really like they're always kind of just chasing fatigue. It's constantly just one fatiguing thing to the next.
It's definitely that. I hate to always like say this because I feel like there's people who get real like upset by it, but like it does seem like a Goggins mindset where it's like you got to grind it out, toughen it up, take no crap.
Yeah.
Don't be
I don't
antsy.
like that word grind for some. I don't know why.
I know you don't like the word grind.
I don't like the word grind, and I don't like the word grit. I don't know why those aggravate me so much.
Grit doesn't bother me.
Yeah, 'cause
grind I think it's used a lot.
It is, but like,
I mean, I use it.
if you
sometimes.
think of what grind actually means,
it's like it's abrasive, like
you're literally smashing something.
Yeah.
And in the smashing process, so like if you grind beans,
yeah.
coffee beans, we'll use something you can relate to because you are a coffee connoisseur.
I am a coffee gal through and
right?
through.
So if you grind beans, okay, there's
Break them
different
down.
levels of which you break them down. The finer the bean is ground,
The more flavor you get.
well, what ends up happening is, as long as usually the stronger the flavor is, right? So that's
Yeah.
usually fine beans or fine grounds are usually for espresso. The more coarse are usually going to be for more like drips,
Yeah.
right, or whatever. And so, but what's insane is, or what's really interesting is, the more finely you grind the bean down, it changes the flavor of that coffee.
I like this analogy.
Okay. So if we are using grinding in training, well, what you're insinuating is that the more you grind, the finer you grind you down, the more bold you're going to be, or the better the flavor is going to be.
The better the flavor of your fitness.
But that's
That's not how it
actually the
works.
opposite.
That's not how it works.
The harder you grind,
The more you grind, the more you wear your body down to where it can't perform at its best.
the more likely you are to break yourself down so much
You will become a powder.
that you are an espresso bean
You
powder.
are a powder.
Right? So, like, that's why I just not like a big fan of that, because the connotation behind it is that it's a positive thing, but I feel like it's not a positive thing. Do I believe in hard work and discipline? That's what I believe in.
Yes.
And discipline works 2 ways. It works, one, with doing things you need to do that you don't want to do. And then it works the other way with not doing things you shouldn't do because it's going to sabotage you.
Yeah.
Right? Or cause you harm or do
Yeah.
something wrong. So I'm a big fan of discipline and creating those discipline guardrails or guidelines in your life, because I've seen over time, whether it's through training, whether it's through the music you listen to, the TV shows you watch, the food you eat, all of those things affect your mindset. They affect your body. They affect your mental state, your emotional state, all those things. And so using discipline to kind of not control, but to help guide you throughout the process does way more good than harm.
Yeah.
Whereas just having that I'm going to grind mindset means that no matter what, I'm going to keep pushing and I'm going to keep doing hard stuff, when that's literally probably why you're not getting any better.
You're not getting better. You might be like feeling a little more aches and pains.
Yeah.
You're sitting there saying like, oh, I'm just like really feeling it in my knees or my hips. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
your body is talking to you.
Yeah. Well, I think of it this way. I don't know why this picture just came to my head. It's like instead of like fine tuning your engine like a sports car, you're just revving the engine.
Yeah.
I just got this picture of a dude standing at a light because I used to do this. I used to have a Trans Am, and anytime somebody, especially with a Mustang, would pull up next to
Oh
me,
yeah. You got to give
right?
them the side eye.
We'd look at each other at the light,
Give it a
and then
little
we'd
gas.
just like rev the engine, rum, rum. And I didn't even have a manual. I just I had to put it in neutral to be able to do that, And we'd rev the engines up, what have you. But my Trans Am,
yeah, and that like really bad for the engine. No, I thought it was.
no. So, but my Trans Am was like not a finely tuned like beast.
Okay.
And I don't mean that like it was old. It was nice. It was new. It was like a 98,
More like a kitten than a
99. No, it was a straight on Trans Am. I mean, there was Camaros. The Trans Am was like the beefed up V8, whatever. But it like I was poor basically at the time, and I was buying this car from someone else.
Okay.
Right? So they had me on a payment plan.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is that I had enough to afford the car, but I didn't have enough to afford like souping it up or fixing it if it broke. Right? And so when I would get up to these start line or these lights and I'd rev the engine up and then the light turned green, they would go and take off, and I would just
Coast out.
just nice and easy just leave, right? So like they built their engine for performance. I was just revving my engine.
You were just show ponying a little
That's
bit.
it.
Did you show pony for ladies or just for the cars?
Yeah, I did.
That's funny.
did.
What color was the Trans Am?
Green.
Ooh.
It was like hunter green.
Oh, it's a good color.
It was hunter green.
That's a nice color.
It was a cool car. It was a really cool
I
car.
love a Trans Am.
So it was, yes, I did. I had a pair of fuzzy dice that I hung from the rearview mirror.
You did not.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
That's a side of you I would never picture.
Yeah.
The Trans Am I could see, but not fuzzy dice in the window.
I had a fuzzy dice hanging from the rear view, and
What a
I had
time.
the seats riding low, like real low. Like you could probably barely see my
Like
head
a
over.
couple sheets of paper?
No, it was sheets of paper you wouldn't have been able to touch the steering wheel the way
Wow.
you drive at all.
Wow.
You would have had to drive with your feet, I feel. So you'd have been up there just with your feet.
Both feet
And your hands in the air just hoping. It's like a roller coaster ride.
Take the wheel.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So when it comes to like going over assessment, what did your own personal assessment look like for your race? Kind of swinging back to what we were talking about originally.
You mean for my race season? Is that what you're saying? Well, I would say I could definitely see the places where I improved. I can see across the board all the things that I wanted, that I was challenged with, that I wanted to improve on. I improved on every single one of them.
Okay.
My goal at the beginning of the season was to be able to run my 1Ks at a 6:25 to a 6:35 pace.
Okay.
So every race I was able to get faster and faster. So my last race we ended at a 6:20 pace actually, for our 1K laps. So check, bam,
Yeah.
hit that. I wanted to improve on my lunges specifically because I've always felt like I sucked at those.
How do you get better at lunges?
Lunge, apparently.
lunge.
Right. And then wall balls. And so I went on some very specific journeys through the different training cycles to improve. And what really I think excites me a lot is that each one of those cycles I could see significant improvement.
Yeah.
Right. So one thing I did started with, like, say, getting better at the wall balls was I went through like 2 training blocks where I increased the weight significantly. So I went from a 14 to a 20 to a 25
Blech.
to a 30-pound ball.
Ugh.
And then, it was progressive, and the reps were also progressed. But I got to a place where, I could use the 30-pound ball and I could do, 100 reps, right? Well, then the muscles you utilize using that 30-pound ball is way different than what you use for a 14-pound ball. You have to use more core. You have to have a lot better,
real stable,
a lot of stability. You have to be upright, because if you don't, that ball will literally pull you
to the
forward,
ground.
right? So that helped me with my posture quite a bit. And so then once I got, pretty adept at that and I felt more comfortable and I went back down in weight to, like, say, the 20-pound ball, well, I was able to be pretty quick and have a good rhythm. Well, then what I realized was that for, like, mixed doubles, because I was only doing 20 and 25-pound wall balls, my rhythm was off.
Oh, because it was a much lighter ball.
Because the ball comes down a lot quicker when it's heavier.
Yeah.
And so with the lighter ball, I was slower. I was slower with a 14-pound ball than I was with a 20-pound ball. And so now I had all this strength, and I had, this I guess, neural pathway that had been created for my core to engage and everything. So now I had to get a rhythm for the lower weighted ball, right?
Yeah.
So, like, as we got closer to a race, I would switch over and only use the 14-pound ball, like, the last few weeks, right? So that's how the progression went. Was I established a new foundation, a new strength, a new ability, and then I honed in on race specific activity.
Yeah.
Right. So I significantly got better at wall balls, right?
Yeah.
And then the lunges, I did variations of lunges throughout the season, from front rack lunges to really help with my core strength and my stability, to, like, really focusing on learning how to use, like, both legs instead of just one leg. Obviously plyometric movements with, like, split squats, jump squats, stuff like that. And actually I was encouraging someone, my partner actually, and I was talking about how if she had realized we had not done since Dallas. So Dallas was November, right? This is March. That's 6 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
November, December, January, February, March, 5 months.
5 months, yeah.
Right. So in the last 5 months, we haven't done one weighted lunge.
Yeah, we really and in Thursday workouts, we really haven't.
I personally have not had a sandbag, a dumbbell, a kettlebell, any type of weight on my shoulders doing lunges, period.
Yeah.
The only lunges I've done have been, like, either split squats, Bulgarian split squats, things like that. And they've all been unweighted.
Yeah.
But they've all been very plyometric specific, very explosive. And every race, I've gotten faster at the lunges. So I can see how that progression helped me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So, when I assessed that the season itself, I was able to accomplish all the goals that I had set up in improving.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when I assess, okay, well, where did I fail? Where do I need to get better? So one of the things I looked at was I put myself on the treadmill. I videoed myself running to see, where are my imbalances? Where's my format? Because I haven't done that, in a little while.
Yeah.
And whereas I see a lot of improvement, there's still places I need to improve, right? There's definitely an imbalance from my left to my right side. My right side's way weaker than my left. Well, if I could bring more, parity between those two, that should make me a better runner, right? It should make me stronger throughout a lot of those movements, because I'm not going to be, overcompensating on the other side.
Yeah.
And so as part of my assessment, I did the same thing last year, right? Where I did an assessment, and that's what helped me realize, okay, I need more core strength. I need more stability. I need to get better with lunges. And so, I did some mobility movement things, the same things I would take my clients through, specific to individual sides, left and right side. I did like a deadlift kind of assessment, like what's my overall strength. I did like a box jump thing, right? Like where do I struggle? And then I had my partner do the exact same thing. And so what those are giving us is, okay, these are things we're really good at. Here are things that we are lacking.
Yeah.
So how do we become a more complete athlete? So this will help us here.
Yeah.
So the assessment itself is, okay, where did we do good in the races, but where do we have room for improvement, right? Yeah. So now from that, we can look back and we say, okay, we're not saying we failed. What we're saying is that these are places where we can now excel even more.
Yeah.
So, getting away from this whole idea that, I don't know, it's like when people get good at, or they get better at something. Like, let's say you go out and, let's say your goal was to qualify for Boston Marathon, right? Or your goal was to run a sub 4 hour marathon or something like that. Well, then people get it, I think, and sometimes they make that goal so important that when they get it, they don't know what to do after that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of like they're like lost.
They're lost, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times what happens at the end of a race season, right? With stuff like this, especially like those run groups where they have one big race every season that's like the race.
That everyone's working towards. It's like all they ever talk about.
It's all they talk about. And then they kind of have the post-race blues, you know, and they don't know what to do with themselves. And then they don't run for 4 or 5 months.
if that.
If that,
It
right?
could be longer.
So, yeah, it could be years, right?
Yeah.
So
Somebody be like, I ran it. I'm done. I'm good for a while.
exactly. So I think like doing this where you need to give yourself a little bit of a recovery and break, right? Because just mentally, I think you need it when you're grinding all that time.
All that grinding.
You get mentally fatigued, right? So I think a week or two is a good time to take a break, but then also that's where you do your assessment, right? That's where you figure out, okay, what do I need to improve on? Because that's the cool thing about the human body is progression is an inevitability if you constantly are overloading the system, right? Progressively. So you can keep getting faster, you can keep getting stronger, you can get more mobility, you can get fitter if you are assessing where you need to work, set a new goal, and move forward.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, with those blind spots of people really thinking, not like focusing on doing too much intensity, not having any kind of structure, you know, those oftentimes are places where if you just actually get on a plan and you make sure you're doing very intentional work and you're not doing too much hard stuff without having the easy stuff to justify it. Well, then like the third one would have been like ignoring like recovery, not doing recovery work.
Yeah.
You know, well, I think for us, and when I say us, I would put me in that thing as well. But like, I think as our group, people are starting to get a hold of the 80-20 principle, I think.
I think it's starting to seep in.
Yeah, I think they're starting
Yeah.
to like, understand it better and see the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Like thoroughly see the benefit of it. And then they're actually able to do what would be considered a really hard workout, a challenging workout, and they're seeing the benefit of that. I think where a lot of people that we are working with right now, where their biggest blind spot would be in the recovery process.
Yes.
Right.
I
So
agree.
they're not doing the stretching, they're not doing the foam rolling, right? They're not.
Nobody wants to do the what I think is the fun, relaxing stuff. I'm like, give me a time to like just sit, put on some chill music, and you know, go through a few stretches. That sounds great.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
It's not
that doesn't
sexy,
sound
I
exciting
guess.
to me.
It's not sexy, I guess. I do it before bed. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so that's the thing is finding a routine.
Yeah.
Finding something that you do on a regular and becomes like a habitual thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a habit, right? So recovery isn't what you do when you're tired, or when you're hurt. It should be something that you're doing as preventative,
Yes.
right? It should be something that you do that allows you to truly improve.
Yes.
Okay. So sleep is a big part of recovery.
It's a big one.
So making sure you're sleeping enough, because that's when your body's really going to recover the most. Make sure you're getting enough calories, getting your nutrition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I can tell a significant difference. This is someone who has years of experience of racing, coaching, eating well, eating crappy. Like I can tell you, like I can like when I'm paying attention and I'm tracking like what it is that I'm putting in my body, the types of foods, and the quality, not just the quality, because I always want good quality food no matter what, but like the type of food and the amount of protein or carbs or fats or calories that I'm getting in, I feel my body looks and I feel completely different.
Yeah.
As
100%.
opposed to when I'm just like living footloose and fancy free.
Yeah.
Right. And that goes a long way in your overall production. And so, an improvement. So for those people who are like, I just don't know why I'm not getting any better. Well, do you sleep?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm injured all the time. Well, do you stretch and foam roll?
Do you do any of that recovery
Right.
work?
I don't know why I'm not putting on muscle or why I haven't lost body fat.
Yeah.
Well, how do you eat?
Yeah.
You know, and you can't go off of your idea of what healthy eating is.
No, you really do need to put it to like a computer or like put in a data. Let the internet tell you.
You need to talk to someone or get an expert or
Get an app.
investigate or something, because you are, what's the word? You are biased because of all of the information that is going through your head, your eyes and your ears based on just crap, right? So perfect example. Growing up, there was the food pyramid. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember something about the food pyramid?
It always was it your carbs and everything at the bottom.
It's like grains,
Yeah, your grains,
vegetables, fats, meats, fats, whatever,
and
right?
desserts at the very top.
So, and then I remember growing up, like frosted mini wheats is a part of this complete breakfast, right? Or
That was the tagline.
or what was it? Fruit Loops is a part of your complete breakfast. And then you see the picture because they didn't want to lie to you, and it would be a bowl of Fruit Loops, some eggs, some fruit, some bacon. There would be like all this other food on the table. So basically what they're telling you is you can eat the Fruit Loops, but you also need to make sure you eat all this other stuff at the same time.
Just have some eggs with it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So it's not a complete breakfast unless you eat the other
All
30
these
things on
things.
the plate, right? So it's really has nothing to do with completing your breakfast.
Yeah.
Because it's just sugar.
It's literally just sugar.
Just sugar.
I love cereal. I'm a cereal girl, but I've had to tell myself cereal is a luxury we have.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I was never a big cereal guy.
See, Cookie Crisp is so good.
Really. So, but that's the thing is like you've been taught your whole life a certain thing, like drinking wine is bad for you. Well, now drinking wine is good for you, but only if you drink this much wine. Or chocolate is bad for you. Oh, wait a second. Dark chocolate's good for
Totally
you,
fine.
but if only you'd only want to eat this much of it, right? Certain kind.
And a certain percentage.
In a certain percentage, right? Fat is so good for you, right? It's going to make you healthy. Just don't eat carbs with it. So
There's
carbs
a lot
are
of
the devil.
information that gets passed around.
So there's so much information and misinformation that gets misskewed. And so all of that kind of creates these prejudices. And so your idea of what's healthy may not actually be all that healthy, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think one of the best ways to handle, instead of like that's what everybody's trying to do. I think with all this training stuff, with the grind and everything else, people are trying to microwave their strength and fitness and their performance. So they're trying to do the things they think they're going to get them where they want to go the fastest. Okay. So if I do a ton of hard workouts, it's going to help me get fit much quicker. Okay. If I grind out 4-hour sessions in a day, well, I only have to train 2 days a week.
Yeah, because that's
Right?
how that works.
Because that's exactly right.
That's exactly how it works.
If I don't eat nothing, if I eat like 800 calories a day, I'm going to lose weight.
Yeah.
So we're doing all these things that we feel like because we're sacrificing, we're going to get to a place much faster. And then we can start doing the right things.
Yeah. My mom, when it comes to the food, my mom was a fitness instructor when I was really young, before she had me, and when I was very young, she was a fitness instructor. She still, to this day, likes to think she knows all there is to know about health and fitness.
Yeah.
Not to throw her under the bus, but I'm going to throw her under the bus. She also likes to get some of her information from a post that her friend Susie Q posted on Facebook.
Okay.
So she's a big clickbaiter.
Yeah.
And my mother is a person, she's like, I just want to lose some of this weight I put on. And then I'll be like, okay, well, let's get some fruits and vegetables. The woman will not eat a vegetable unless I cook it and force it upon her.
Does she
But
just not like vegetables, or they're
my mom doesn't like to cook.
okay?
She doesn't like to cook. So she's like, I need to eat something. I'm just going to have we'll have half a cup of cottage cheese, or half a container sometimes of cottage cheese. And she's like, I'm so full. I mean, there's protein in that. I'm like, okay, but what else did you have? She's like, no, I just had cottage cheese. I can't eat bread anymore. Bread's bad for me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you do you, because you're not going to like what comes out of my mouth.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and it was actually on another podcast, what have you, and we were talking about like struggles people have, like with addiction and things like that. And I asked the question, I was like, so what do you wish somebody had done for you to help you maybe get to the right place quicker? And they were like, I wish somebody had pushed harder. Right? So often,
Like resisted, like pushed them in the right direction harder?
yes,
Okay.
like went after them more. Like they
Okay.
noticed there was a problem, but they
Yes.
didn't say anything because they didn't want to be out of place,
Yes.
or whatever. They were uncomfortable. But that's what they said, is I wish somebody just would have pushed harder. Now, in the moment, they probably would have been like, get off my back.
It can create some animosity.
Right?
Yeah.
But later on, they would have been very thankful for
Yes.
it, right? So I don't know if so the whole point.
That's a lot of pressure to also put on people.
It may be.
It can be.
It may
depends
be.
on it depends on the people in your circle in your life.
Maybe, but I think if you care for people, that's the whole reason we do this podcast, right? The whole point is we're trying to help people.
Yes.
And so we bring up problems, mistakes, challenges, right? And they're probably, when people hear it at first, it probably rubs them the wrong way.
Probably.
Right?
Because nobody wants to look in that mirror and be like, oh, that's me.
Right, being real with yourself.
I'm one of
is
those
so
people,
hard.
guys.
Being
I hate being real with myself.
it's reality checks are hard, but I think we talked about in one of our meetings, one of our coaches' meetings, but what you refuse to address, you refuse to change. If you're not, whatever you allow becomes your culture. And so, if you're in a group of people, right? So we have a great community that we're a part of, right? That we lead to an extent, and we encourage and all that other good stuff. And so, if we're trying to create this community or this gym or this culture of amazing athletes, and I'll be honest with you, my idea of an amazing athlete has many variations. Okay. The people who went out and went sub an hour, those are amazing athletes. The people who went out there and got a 13-minute PR but still were 140,
Still amazing.
those are amazing
That's
athletes.
a big PR.
Right? Because that's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
And so your level of how good an athlete you are has less to do with like your overall like a performance compared to someone else.
Yeah.
And more to do with your overall performance compared to yourself where you used to be.
Where you were, yeah.
Right?
100%.
And so, if we're, I think sometimes we just don't want to get into it with people, right? Because we don't want to.
It's a very sensitive subject. People are very protective of themselves and their peace.
Yeah.
And like their feelings. I totally get that.
So, but I just think that as part of, the leadership and the coaching, right? Because we are in leadership roles.
We are.
Whether you want to accept it or not.
No, we are.
We're in leadership roles.
hard, guys.
People look to us for insight, advice, help. Okay. And so I don't want to, this sounds, conceited, but we're the experts. Okay. We're supposed to be the experts.
We're supposed to be the experts for
Okay.
sure.
We've got a podcast. We've got a YouTube. We own a gym.
A pretty big following. People.
We're coaches. We invest in people's lives. So people look to us to have the answers. Okay. Now, I am definitely not to the place where I'm like, if I don't know the answer, I won't tell you I don't know the answer. Did I say that right? Did that come out
you say
right?
that right?
I don't even know.
If you don't know the answer, you will be upfront about it.
Yes, there we go.
Let's just put it that way.
Yes, if
There we
I don't
go.
know the answer, I'll let you know. I don't know. Somebody asked me the other day. They came in and they were talking about they were feeling a pain in their calf, and while they were doing like marching drills and stuff like that, but they don't feel it when they run. And that doesn't make any sense to me. I was like,
know, sir.
how can you do the run and it not hurt, but the drill hurts? That's crazy to me. And so we kind of kept talking through it, and I was like, I have no answer for you. I'm so sorry. Maybe we should go to the doctor. Maybe we should go get it checked. An MRI might help, So we kept talking. I was like, well, let me see something. And so I was like, you mind if I touch you? And sure. So I touched her calf, and the moment I touched it, she's like, ah! And then I touched it again. I was like, ah! And I was like, okay. And so you could feel the tightness in there. I was like, do you foam roll? Do you stretch? Well, every time I go to foam roll, it just hurts, so I don't do it.
Well,
I'm like, okay, well, we might have just established that you have some sort of
Real
like
tight.
adhesion in there.
Yeah.
And you got you got knots in your muscles that
Yeah.
you're not working out. And when you start using, the dynamic movements of the marching drill, it aggravates it. So it's like, so maybe we should start doing some recovery work. And if that doesn't work after, a week or two, maybe you should go see a doctor.
Yeah.
So
go get that medical profession opinion.
it's okay to not know all the answers, but I think that we have to come to a place where, especially within our communities, right? If you are working with someone, because here's what I've learned: people with bad advice do not mind sharing it.
No, it's crazy. The people who have really bad advice are so confident about it.
Yeah, the people that don't know what the heck they're talking about,
So confident.
are posting and sharing and telling everybody. And the people that actually know stuff, those are the people who are like, oh, well, I don't want to be out of place, or I don't want to give unsolicited advice or what have you.
Nice people. We're nice people.
No, we need to
We need to reverse that.
If there's yes, we need to.
Let's Uno reverse.
Yes, we need to put that double reverse on them and then skip them and then put some draw fours on them.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't get a chance to talk.
One of our clients loves to send me, because he knows how upset it makes me. He loves to send me rage bait of like skinny girl culture. Mm-hmm. And it's just like girls saying, how's that donut taste? You fat lardo. You want to, and it's just so hateful, and it's so nasty.
Well, if it's the person I'm thinking about,
the
that's the
worst
kind of
advice ever.
That's the kind of stuff that gets him like motivated. He likes negative reinforcement.
Yes.
That's what he
I've
likes.
noticed that too.
Yes, he wants you to call him a piece of crap.
And I'm like, we might need to talk about some other like sessions you need to get outside of fitness.
Exactly right. So I think that, the best place to start, right? So we're talking about assessing, right? We've assessed, we kind of figured out where we're at. I think with all the blind spots we kind of mentioned and talked about, I think the thing comes down to is there's got to be like, you kind of get to a realization that you need a little bit of an identity shift.
Yeah.
Your mind's got to change.
Yes.
You know, kind of going back to the whole grinding thing. I would rather you be a builder instead of a grinder.
Yeah.
I'd rather you know, think about how do I build myself up instead of grind myself down into a very fine espresso bean. Mm-hmm. So, you know, a grinder is always tired. They're always reactive. They're always emotional. A builder is someone who's very intentional. Mm-hmm. They understand that it takes patience and it's structured. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I feel like the grind gets the attention, but the building gets the results.
Yeah.
And I would assume that if you're,
I love that. That sounds great.
if you're an athlete, or actually, you know what? If you're anybody,
I think it's anybody. I think that goes for work culture, school culture.
Yes.
Like that applies to life.
you want results.
You gotta go for the long game.
Yeah,
It's not
you're
about the
in it
short
for the
game.
long game, right? You're not in for the short haul. You're in it for the long haul.
It's not about the sexy post today.
No, because honestly, you know, what you are able to, you know, I could take any single person. We'll use Gerard as a perfect example. This dude he takes great videos, puts great stuff together, gets
Yeah.
good content.
It really does.
This dude could take anybody and make a highlight reel for you and
He
make you look
really
amazing.
could make anyone look like he can make some average Joe off the street, give them a workout that they don't know anything about, and make them look like a pro.
Word is born. He can make you look amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so looking at the little 2-second clip shots here and there, you pick the best moments of everything, which is really what social media is.
It is.
You pick the best of whatever to tell everybody how great things are in your life. And it's not a realistic picture.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are building something, you have a realization that there's going to be good times, there's going to be hard times, and you have to be patient through it all. And as you continue to progress forward, you're patient with the process and you learn that today I'm building, tomorrow I'm resting.
Mm-hmm.
2 days from now I'm building, the next day I'm recovering. And so, you know, you're constantly. So what I always show people, or what I try to, right, is I like to give people the visual. When I talk about building the pyramid, right, I always draw like a triangle, but it's not really a triangle. It's more like the pyramids of Egypt.
Oh, they got the little steps.
If you look at the
Yeah.
pyramids
It's not
from
smooth.
a long way, far away, they look like big triangles.
They look smooth.
right. They look very smooth. But the closer you get to them, you see they're just these huge blocks
They're ridges
that literally
all the way up.
stack on top of each other, right? So you go up, then you level off. You go up, you level off. But the further you get away from it, the smoother those lines look.
Yeah.
And so we're in it,
Yeah.
right? So since we're in it, that means we're really up close to it. We're going to have to climb and then level off,
Yes.
climb and then level off, climb
Yeah.
and then level off. But the further we get away from where we started, we'll look back and we'll see that straight line of progression. And so, like, that's how you build, I think. That's how you are a builder and not someone who is just grinding away mindlessly at things, right?
Facts.
So if we make it useful and, you know, you're listening right now, and I would say, you know, ask yourself these questions. Number one, did I follow a structured plan?
Good question.
Okay. Did I truly train easy on easy days? Did I progressively improve? Was I constantly tired or actually recovering? And did I address weaknesses or just do what I liked?
And you got to be painfully honest with yourself.
You do.
Write it down. You got to be you can do it with yourself and you're in a room where no one's looking, but you got to be painfully honest.
Yeah. So if you were to ask yourself those questions, did I follow a structured plan? Do I truly train easy on easy days? Did I progressively improve anything? Was I constantly tired or actually recovering? And did I address weaknesses or just do what I like? I bet you if you didn't improve this last season, if you didn't get better, I bet you the answer to all 5 of those questions is probably going to be
No.
a little gut wrenching,
Yeah.
right? And maybe you did 1 or 2 of them,
Yeah.
but my bet would be you probably didn't do any of them.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say so.
And so if that's the case, you can fix it,
Yeah.
right? But if you will not address it or if you will not face it, you can't fix it.
Yep.
Right? So you can't fix what you don't face. So, you know, I think the good news is that the best place to be is a place of realization, right? And so in other words, being real with yourself, because now is the time you can start building. You can take those mistakes that you made in this last season and you can take this off season to start truly creating something that's really good.
Yeah.
Right. And start building on those foundational things. And so that's what we do. We assess and then now we build. That's really what the next phase is all about. We rebuild. We go from where we were, and we start anew. We rebuild something. We work on the things that we were challenged with. And so aerobic capacity, like that foundation I talked about, what's our aerobic capacity? What's our strength foundation? What is our mobility, our flexibility? And if you ever feel like you're stuck in your training, I feel like this is always a good thing that you can go back to hit the reset button.
Yep, I agree.
So guys, I hope this was helpful. If this episode hit with you, just don't sit there, share it. Don't let it just fester. Don't be mad at us, but actually utilize it and share it with somebody else that you think it might work with. It might help. And if you know someone who trained hard this season, but they feel stuck, definitely send this to them. So next week, we're going to start talking about how do we go from this to that next phase? What's the rebuild phase look like? And what does it look like to do it the right way, right? So if
we're moving on up.
we're moving up to that east side, So I'm excited, guys. There's a lot of things that are going on this year. So many amazing things have happened this year so far. It's already been an amazing.
I mean, we still got the rest of 2026. We said 2026 was the big year.
Yeah. Good to great.
Good to great. And we still got half the year to go.
Yeah. More than half.
More than
It's
half.
only the
It's
fourth month.
not even May yet.
Yeah. We're not even in
Why
May.
has it felt so long so far?
The beginning of April.
So long.
So we're just getting started. So I'm excited to see, everybody's progression. So, I'd love to hear those stories too, share those with us. We're with the Patreon, we're doing the Coach's Corner segment right now. And it's just taking an opportunity to sit down with some athletes that I coach and talk about their journey, where they've come from, where they're going, what their struggles have been. So each week we're doing a new athlete. So that's been really good. I've really enjoyed it so far. And the Patreon members have really enjoyed it as well. So I want to give a shout out to Travis. He's our newest Patreon member. So thank you for being a part. So if you guys are interested in supporting the show, you can become a Patreon member simply by going to patreon.com/runningwithjames. Obviously, you get additional content that you will not get here. But then also you get some perks, discounts on swag, or I guess swag would be free stuff. Discounts on merch. That's correct. Okay. So discount on merch. And then also discounts on our services that we provide here through BC Fitness. So on run coaching and things of that nature. So it definitely pays for itself.
I would say we want to reward you for
supporting
keeping us going,
That's
feeding
exactly
me.
Right. That's right. So, but it's a pretty simple thing, and I feel like it gives back more than it takes away. Also, you can support the show simply by going to mybcfit.com. If you want to get some of that sweet merch we talked about, hit the Get Your Gear Now stuff, and there's some pretty cool stuff on there. You can race in, run in, train in, and it's only good stuff. I don't do crappy stuff.
This
only
is true.
the best. I am super bougie.
He's very bougie when it comes to his material, his textiles.
So bougie when it comes to textiles. That's a shirt.
That is a shirt.
I'm bougie when it comes to textiles.
Bougie about textiles.
Yeah. So nothing but stretchy things touch this body.
Silken.
Yeah. So, but also check us out on YouTube, guys. New videos coming out, shoe reviews, all that kind of stuff, training tips, as well as funny reels and things like that. So, guys, we appreciate you for all you do. You can follow Lauren at
Backyard Bohemian.
You can follow me at Running with James and BC Coach James. And you can follow what we do as a community by going to @MyBCFit as well. So thanks, guys, for coming in. We appreciate you. Remember, as always, when you change your mind,
you change your life.
Peace out.
Bye.